So hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the School of Body Language in Public Speaking. We know that the planet is growing so fast and global and cultural communities are coming up on the surface. So the leaders has to adapt and has to thrive as well. What skills, intercultural skills, how they want to behave, how they want to adapt in this new environment. And as public speakers, we will know more, we will learn more about Chinese audience and audience from Germany. So we're going to take a lot of information today. Today with us, we're having a great coach. It's an honor that we're having Mrs. Eike Westerholt with us today. I will share few things from her bio in order to understand how deep this conversation will go today. Eike is a dedicated leadership and team coach and facilitator with 20 plus years experience living and working in Germany and Asia. So we have our person here, the proper person. So Eike came to coaching following a solid career in sales, so got the corporate a lot, project management and controlling in a multinational company. What more? Beijing based in China since 2014. Eike's area of focus is in leadership, personal and team coaching, as well as organizational development, with a strong emphasis on enhancement on self-awareness, because yes, the leaders, they have to start now opening their mind and to adapt for self-awareness paths and values. Conflict management. Imagine two different cultures and the conflict, how strong can be, and communication. She has worked with clients in the automotive, mobility, and educational industries, small businesses, and the NGO. In a process of co-creation, Eike empowers people to adjust to new situations and to manage stress and energy imbalance. She helps them connect with their own resources, their own capacities, our capacities as humans, to live and lead. I like this, live and lead, very beautiful rhyme also. It sounds nicely on my ears, with authenticity and purpose. Her approach to coaching mirrors her approach to an intercultural environment. We need this knowledge, exactly. Intuitive approach and her strong ability to connect with clients, encourage clients to get clear on their goals and to achieve them. Eike is a certified professional coactive coach, CPCC, ORSCC, that means certified organizations and relationship system coaching, certified positive intelligence coach, CPQC, professional certified coach, PCC, of the International Coach Federation, ICF, and COF certified cultural orientation framework. She holds a degree, a business administration, and is certified industrial business management assistant by the Chamber of Industry and Commerce in Germany. Eike is the founder of her company, When Eike Consulting Services, Beijing Limited, in Beijing, China, of course. She's a faculty member of Empower One, delivering ICF accredited coaching training programs to aspiring coaching, as we are, as well as PCC mentor coach. Eike, herzlich willkommen.
Dankeschön. Thank you so much, Roxani. Thanks for this wonderful long introduction. I really appreciate it. How you did the show. It feels really so comfortable. Thank you for this opportunity to join you today. So I really am curious about this.
We are curious to learn from you,
this project. So I'm always a fan of this kind of this sharing experiences, knowledge, etc., and to have this wonderful chat with you.
Thank you so much, and it's a great honor because we know also for your time that you're providing to us. So I will dive immediately in with the questions. We're having, let's imagine that our audience here is international public speakers, the majority of the audience here, and coaches. So that means let's lead the conversation a little bit from this pathway, and let's start from the first, because you are a public speaker, you are international speaking, and also with organizationals, all this thing. What is the first thing when you know that I have international audience? What is the difference when you have a German audience? How you will start the opening of your public speaking? Let's start with this.
So yeah, that's actually thanks for raising this question and this attention actually. So for this, if it's a cultural diverse audience or global audience, you know, I will communicate a little bit differently for the opening as well. You know, first of all, I communicate in English then, and for a German audience, of course, I would do this in German language. However, I'm always very mindful that a diverse cultural background comes with different understandings as well. And so often I love really to set the space by either way, you know, getting everybody's attention. So for instance, sometimes if it's like today, like a virtual, you know, meeting, it's great to have either way a nice fun question, or just even if I just ask, where are you all located? And let them type into the chat, you know, just to get the attention, everybody's comes in, etc. And what I usually do mention is that English is not my native language. So if something is difficult to understand of this beautiful German accent, they should just, you know, raise the hand. So even this usually raise a little bit of a laughter, etc., and, you know, sets a little bit the space. So that makes it a little bit, yeah, set the tone like in a nice and kind, either, yeah, at ease, you can say, so to speak. And I'm always mindful as well to use, even for the opening, you know, to don't talk or use words which are too complicated. Because having a broad audience, you never know exactly which kind of language skill they do have. And I'm mindful that cultures have different understandings as well. So yeah, I try to get everybody's energy up and the attention. That's the most important for me at the beginning. Nobody wants to lose the audience at the beginning, right?
Yes, right. Nobody. Nobody. It's a disease. No.
No, and I don't want, you know, what I try to avoid always is, I don't want to have like this dry conversation or like a lecture. Because I mean, from own experience, and it doesn't matter if it's now a German audience or if it's like a broad, if this is very dry, you know, the people do not, you know, you lose them.
Yes.
And I don't want to lose them. So I want the attention and the energy to be up. So there needs to be something fun at the beginning.
In the beginning. So
or
let me,
sometimes,
yes,
depending on the topic, I've done as well, like breathing exercises at the beginning, you know, just a quick short one. You never know where the people come from. If they come from, you know, work, etc. You just want to let them dive in.
So let me recap in order, because it's a lot of information, and this is good because we want just to opening, and you say for the beginning, because if I started from the last and I go to what you have shared, that if it is from a corporate environment and they have finished their work, in order to relax and to be there engaged slowly, you can start from one exercise. This is one beautiful and very smart idea that you have shared with us. So we start to relax, to make the people calm down after their work. So they start with an exercise. What is you want? It is not to use any dry or any like lecture kind of coaching or training, because you will lose them. So instead of that, you want just to raise the energy up and to be more relaxed and humorous, some funny, maybe engagement, some friendly tone of conversation that you are going to use. And this has nothing to do with the cultural. It has to do in general, how we can approach any audience. Now, you also said that if it is the intercultural and the international audience, at this case, you have to be very conscious about the complicated words, about the words that we are using. So we're starting intercultural first top point. Be aware and conscious about the words. If they are complicated, if they are so technical that we cannot nobody to understand, we have to be aware of this and to use simple English language. And you did a nice, beautiful trick at the beginning. If it is intercultural, international, you say I don't speak the language, so please. And so you open the space through vulnerability to other people to communicate, to relax, and to say, yes, also, I'm a Greek, I'm a Spanish, I'm an Italian. She is one of us. She's the same.
Exactly.
I like
Yeah.
all this.
So this takes out a lot of this, I need to be perfect, etc. And yeah, vulnerability, I think, is important as well. Of course, but this is not right at the beginning. This is like a little bit, let's say like a few minutes in. Usually I said as well, but this applies for any, actually. It doesn't matter if it's diverse or, my own original culture, I would say. To set a little bit of roots like engagement as well, how I would like to interact with the people. And this is important as well because I love interaction. And I know that if we have a little bit, or often in China, often it's more like a lecture style, which I personally, I try always to avoid. Of course, there are some topics, where it's always more like this teaching style that's clear for some topics. However, generally speaking, I really try absolutely to avoid this because there's no engagement. And for me, it's really important. They can chat anytime with me. They can use either way, if it's like, raising the hand, if it's a face-to-face, or if it's virtual, really be interactive as much as possible. So I try always to be approachable all the time. And to take out this, or I just can check in later on, or there's hesitation to ask. I mean, we are both always approachable, right? Although we do our passionate work here, nevertheless, we are human beings and it's nice to interact.
I like, so you add now another element. You add the interaction to even if it is our own cultural, or even if it is international audience or multicultural audience, you add interaction as much as possible because it depending on the cultural. You share with us because you start with the China, and I like it so. Ni hao. Let's share my few Chinese words with you. Don't ask me something more, please. Stay to ni hao. And
that's good evening.
Yes, beautiful. And about interaction and engagement in China and approachable, you also put this word. Also, in the beginning, you say friendly, kind. Now you say approachable. So this is the same type of group of behavior that a speaker should have. And I agree with you, in order to get the engagement and the people to relax a little bit. Some people, yes, they hesitate. You mentioned this. They hesitate to ask, even if we are approachable. But you are keeping with what in China, for example, because maybe it is their educational system. It is like that. So they are learned to have this structural lecture point. Maybe it is some other things. You will know best. How you start an interaction, in which way? Let's say that I'm a Chinese. What is the subject, just to understand the volume of the interaction? What type of interaction you will choose to do?
Yeah. So actually, there's definitely a difference to other cultures there. So this is far in that kind of sense for presentation or public speaking, etc. It's a far more, let's say, like a quieter audience, generally speaking. So there is this, I don't want, no, hesitation is not the right word for that. It's out of education, respect, and how they see the speaker, generally speaking, so that they listen first and then they digest and then they might have a question. So this is far more, you need to give far more space. And even as like if I have a workshop or if I do a presentation on a certain topic, I always try to interact with them. However, I don't push too far because I know that out of culture, this respectful behavior, I want to respect likewise. So if there's sometimes I post a question, and there's silence for a moment, I try to, just like be kind and fun a little bit. It's totally okay to say something or just open up. I'm not pointing at any people. So to create more the safety. However, I do know that this might not happen.
Okay.
So
that's good.
There's no it's simply a cultural difference here. And first they let always the speaker finish, and then they wait and digest, generally speaking. So there's less this overlap, like in different cultures, or we might have as well, and this is naturally, they're far more quieter in that sense.
I like this. I like this first so big differentiation, for sure, from Greek public speaking point that we are Mediterranean. They're going like this, yes. And so let's repeat. Let's do this recap one before we go to our next question.
Yeah.
You share that they listen Chinese audience, they listen first. Of course, first of all, they have the big, great respect to the speaker. So we keep this because this is something that we have to keep high up, because this is give also, yes. And then they listen, quiet, they digest the knowledge, and they might have a question later, but in order to have to share the questions with the rest of the people of the audience, we have to leave them space for this to digest, and not to be pushy and asking and finger point and tell me you, or you, Xiao Shang, when, tell me you never figure point, you never maybe address. So you leave them, you look at the eye, so you look more at face to see who will be more might want to ask. So you play with non-verbal cues.
I do that.
I'm sure you will do like that.
May I add something, Roxani?
Yes.
What I do sometimes as well, I know that this having a little bit more safety, to have a conversation, what is easy to be done usually, is to, for instance, either way, to work with one question or with a scenario, or let them share something of their own, experience in a more private conversation. So either way, it's great to have a smaller group work, or maybe just, turn to the neighbor if it's a face-to-face meeting, where they can interact a little bit with another person. And maybe, have 1-2 public sharings afterwards, like, more on a more higher level. So just like the outcome, that's a different way to do, because nobody wants to lose the face as well, just I say, okay, maybe I don't know. So that's like a little bit of, I may say, a no-go. And this is something I highly respect as well.
I see. So I want to share a little bit more about losing the face, because this is for China. We all know, but some people from the audience, maybe they're not aware about this. It's how strong it is it's only for China, or it's also for Taiwan and all Asian countries. If you a little bit dive deeper for this, please.
So generally speaking, I would say here in China, it's pretty much present. However, it's as well like in Thailand, you have the same, Taiwan is the same, etc. So it's present, or like Singapore, etc. Although they are much more influenced from, the Western world, etc. However, this is present in many of the Asian countries. So it's not only related here to China. As well, Korea, for instance.
Okay, and this is how they are afraid not to share something that it's inappropriate, or something that will be irrespectful for your face, for the speaker face.
Both.
Both.
Actually, it's really both.
It's strong.
So sometimes, depending on the topic, sometimes they are really hesitant then to put somebody out like on the spotlight, actually, because that's absolutely not respectful. And we don't do this. Sometimes it might be as well a question where they have, I didn't understand what you mean. And this, of course, it does not always refer to everybody, that's just
okay.
like generally speaking. However, I often said, oh, I don't want to share in front of the audience that maybe I didn't understand what was shared, or that I have a question around that. So it's both.
difficult.
So it's like,
both.
it's a little bit more complex. Yeah.
So yes, it's harder for public speaker than for sure. If somebody got audience from China or from Asia, they have for sure to be aware of this in order not to address to people to make them feel like that uncomfortable. So that needs the audience analysis before. This is what we are sharing also here, that 100% before we do anything, we have to know our audience. I want to share more information about this in general. What is the process when you go, let's say, one organization or NGO or one organization, multi-organizational global? They want to do the coaching for the cultural. How you do the research first? What is the first step? It doesn't need to tell us the whole analysis. What is the first thing? It's calling you now. I'm calling you from Greece. Yes, it is the Nokia, the telecom company. I'm not advertising. And we want you to come. What is the first thing that you are going to do? And we sign the contract, and that's it.
So, for instance, that's very, of course, theoretically. So,
theoretically,
may
yes.
I assume, is that okay, Roxani, that this might be a team, for instance?
Yes, a team, of course.
So I would definitely, what I usually do if I have a team set up, of course, this is multi-layers. It's not only the cultural layer, not only the national culture as the layer, every group has an own culture, etc. So this is has very many layers, like an onion, I always say. So
yes,
you can peel
onion.
off. So what I generally speaking do is, first of all, it's important to get a few more information about the company in general, to have a little bit more about that. Then I, generally speaking, do always a one-on-one interview with every team member as well, to get to know them better, and I have a questionnaire then, and this is always designed for this needs, so it's not that I use always the same, because the question might differ depending on the issue as well, which I might be hired for. And I always I'm really mindful of getting really curious about some cultural behaviors as well. Because I cannot know every culture,
no, you can,
I have my own, so I cannot.
Yes.
I try always to stay away from assumption, because that, would create for me a blind spot as well. So for me, it's really important to have a one-on-one interview to get a connection with every team member, and to let them share as well. So I get a far better feeling. This might not look like this is cultural specific. Of course, it's not. But then I have different cultural related questions. Like, for instance, like in communication, we always, this represents a culture as well. Like, for instance, the German culture is very, generally speaking, very on the very direct end, it's very explicit. We use lots of words, we don't spread any messages besides the word. If we say a sentence, that's the meaning. There's nothing hidden. So I incorporate this as well to get more knowledge around and see what's the style they have among them. And especially if it's a multicultural team, it's very interesting to check in. And on top, I know it's lots of information. On top, I often work with a cultural assessment. So I get quickly an overview as well, because we all have, it's not only national culture, as said, like groups, we have personality, character traits as well, which impacts everything. So that's very, it's has lots of layers.
Yes, a lot of layers. And imagine that, it takes a lot of time for you to do the preparation, the one-to-one meetings for the team, it depending on the reason why they have hired you. So you having this demand, the request, then you start building the whole the questionnaire and for the team building. I like it a lot. But you mentioned Germany audience from German. So let's go deep a little bit for this beautiful country.
Yeah.
Here in Greece, we have a lot of tourists from Germany, and so it is a big support for us. So I know that from the part of tourism, I know in hotel industry these parts. But how, as a public speaker, what is the audience? If you have a German audience, how you prepare, how you do the opening, or how you maybe do the interaction? It is more interactive or not? They want more statistics, or they want more passion and theatrical, this style of Greek as I have. What is how you do this? How you approach your audience?
Yeah. So I love what you shared, and I already heard, the word statistics, and or is it more, what? So actually, when you sent me a little bit the question before, and I was like thinking, okay, if I compare like several to Germans, for Germans, I'm really far more straightforward and direct. It's more about facts. Even the I think the speaking style from myself, it's like, then I just dive back into my roots, it's really far more precise, it's clear, and really more fact-based. And the level of engagement with the German audience can be works pretty well usually, because they love interaction as well. So it's kind of easy to engage them as well through questions or polls, etc., depending on the if it's like face to face or virtual, however. So they have no hesitation in asking. So whenever they're curious or there's something which might need further information or maybe an experience sharing, etc., they will simply ask, or they're happy as well often to share their own experience, So this is fairly straightforward. And as I said, the communication is explicit. So for me, of course, the German speaker, native speaker, is pretty it's a natural thing. So it's like, give the message, that's it. I'm mindful of, because throughout the years, I interact with so many different, and you might have noticed I'm a person who uses as well more body language.
Yes.
I'm mindful that not all German people do that. I try not to be too playful. So
I see.
Playfulness is something which, depending on the audience, if it's, for instance, like a corporate word, depending on, I check which kind of, is it more male, more female, sometimes more engineers or etc., as I work with a lot of engineers as well. So I'm mindful to bring a little bit, but not to overdo, because that doesn't end so well on that end.
Oh, Eike, I love whatever you are saying here. Oh my God, it's beautiful. So let's do the recap again now for German, beautiful German audience. So the speakers, the coaches, the people that are mentoring, the people that they have the opportunity to coach or to ring the telephone and to tell them, please come to do the coaching. I mean, we have to be totally 100% aware of our audience. We repeat this again and again because it is a point, because you might lose the opportunity to collaborate with an organization if you don't be mindful with the cultural and how you approach and how you communicate from the first stage, from the first step on the telephone, the people that they will approach you. Audience from Germany. We have to keep it to be straightforward, direct. There is the engagement, the people is sharing experience, sharing information, because they want to learn everything in depth. They want to be sure that they have learned. That's why there is this direct asking need of question, and they maybe interact and asking all the time during the process. If I am correct, I hope that I have understanding correctly. Easy to get, easy to get interaction tools, interactive tools of learning, polls, questions, and maybe to share their personal story, simple things, simplicity and clear things, straightforward, explicitity, but but we have to be mindful on our body language here, not to be so much exaggerate. Maybe if we see that everything they are loose and happy and it is change the environment, then we can do like that. But for sure, and we have to be very smart to see what is happening, to read the audience, the atmosphere, to keep it more simple, correct, especially if it is a corporate, mainly men or engineering, this type of mind people. That, but I think engineers all over the world, they're like that. You will tell me. I think engineering. No,
not always.
Not.
I don't want to create here any
Okay.
stereotype. You know,
Stereotypes.
that
Okay.
would not be fair. That can be very fun, very playful too. However, for the I'm really, it's less wordy as well.
Yes.
Often so.
That's beautiful. And so that is the first. We have the first. We are building slowly, and I think we have two different, separate audiences in front of us. If we have these two different audiences, both from China and Germany, how you will approach them? What is the middle way, the middle path? Because one is asking and share experience. The other, they don't want to lose the face. How you will do this?
Yeah. That's a wonderful question. I love that actually. So, for instance, so here I'm really mindful that I have if I have a look at the communication style, and as well regarding the languages, that Germans are more on the really not the furthest on the left side regarding explicit language. However, pretty on the left side. And if we have on the scale on the other side, like the implicit language, so you would find Chinese on the other side. So there's really a huge gap in between. So, I often work with both cultures in a mixed context, actually. So even today, during this coaching training, we had a mixed audience. So it's, I think, finding a wonderful balance between sharing more details, maybe adding a few more stories, really paying attention to the atmosphere and the energy in the room, not to lose anybody, as well to be far more in eye contact with the people. So to really check in far more often, and I'm very, very well aware that it's easy to dive into your own, autopilot. So where we come from, and that's something I don't want, because then I lose people. So it's really to cater to both all the time. So sometimes if I see that maybe the Germans need a little bit more quicker explanations, less stories, to do that if appropriate, and if it's something else, to share more as well experiences from my side, that it includes details, however not too elaborated, because then I'm aware that the others might doze off a little bit, if I may say so, but it's like really cater to both, and finding a bit of a middle. For instance, if I may share today, was not such a big group. It was a coaching training, so it's a little bit different, where where you need to know as well, are there questions in the room, where you need to, are there some, questions, or did I explain well, etc. So then it's really to read, like you often do, like I know you love body language, etc. So to read the face, to see, okay, is this person still present? And sometimes so to say, did I see a question mark on your face? Or is there anything, I noticed there is, just to create a different relationship, where they can say, yes, I have a question, or no, there was nothing, and everything is fine. So to really check in far more, if you don't have it,
not to be so relaxed. You have always to check in, not to be relaxed. Oh, everything is okay, I'm relaxed, and nobody understands.
Exactly. Exactly. Because I think that's always key. We don't want to lose any audience. Is it a coaching? Is it a team coaching, a training, or whatever it is? We don't want to lose the attention. We want to have either way knowledge sharing, or that they have fun as well, even if it's a serious topic, or if it's learning around. So
I like
not
it.
always easy to balance. Yeah. And another tip I have, sometimes it's really great if you can have another co-speaker or co-trainer, co-facilitator, if you can have a nice co-facilitation or co-speaking there. So this adds a different energy as well. And then we can be far more attentive.
So it's beautiful, because in negotiations they do like that. In big tables negotiations, they always have a person that is reading the body language, reading the atmosphere. They can change, and then the other will check the faces and the body language. They do like that, and I like, very smart. Yes, it's good, because otherwise, first of all, you want to deliver, to help, to support, to deliver the message, to keep the attention. If we're talking about, apart from the cultural background, apart from the personality, there are also all the pains and the worries that each person might carry on their shoulder. So it's different. So in order to grab the attention, to share the message that the people, they have hired us to do so. And we have to have the responsibility to do the best way possible. And I like the way that you share that if you have in front of you the both audience with this different gap of communication, you will try to use the middle path. You will see the face, and you are sharing more story details for the Chinese audience. If you see that the Germans, they are going a little bit down and boring, or they say, what she's doing right now? Do we say it 1, 2, 3 and finish? And then you go and move. It's beautiful. This elasticity, adaptability, resilient, of course, kind of coaching, and you are a coach of this kind. So now let's move to your beautiful, what you are dedicated for so many 20 plus years of dedication in coaching, in industries, in organizations. Let's start to talk about something that we hear it a lot around in magazines, in TV, and wherever. Of course, I don't know if people still see TV, but never mind, in YouTube there is. And it is about the toxicity at the workplace. Let's put things a little bit in order. What toxicity means at the workplace, how can be created, and how we can avoid it. But just whatever you feel like it that you want to share today.
Yeah, so that's definitely a topic as well close to my heart. First of all, to take out a little bit this is really can be a very, very heavy and a very serious topic, of course. It depends on where it comes from, etc. To have a little bit of toxic behavior sometimes, it's not unusual, and we all have that. Okay. So it's a natural, let's say it's a bit of a human behavior, but to a certain extent, I think it's normal. Okay. However, it's good to have the awareness and the attention around, because it has a negative impact, even if we both, we had something now where we said, okay, we have a little bit of an argument, or we are not aligned, etc. It's easy to step into that pitfall and to have this like more conflict behavior, which actually toxins are conflict behavior. And it depends if, for instance, if we have a look at the workplace, it might be that like the leader has a very strong toxic behavior. So this influences then the entire team, the employees, and not only the team, but as well, maybe other teams related, other departments, etc. So this creates like this ripple effect, that it has really a very negative impact on the stress level, on the performance, as well. People might get really sick. They might have an increased level of sick leave. It has a very negative impact on the mental health if it's a really severe case of toxic leadership behavior, depending on which kind of behavior style this is. If we have a look at teams where they might have a normal communication and then something shows up, or there's a stress factor from outside a deadline, or something is not going well, often a conflict arises as well due to different styles in communication or because there's so much going on. And then usually I go with the toxins and with the beautiful work of Gottman, like with this blaming, defensiveness, content, which is actually really hard to deal with, actually. Or I have this here as well, you can see, or the stonewalling. So, and this is something they need to be aware of. Okay. It starts first with awareness. If the team is not aware that this behavior is ongoing, they don't move forward, because then it creates this vicious cycle. And then one starts blaming, the other reacts, and then, so forth. Sometimes for a short while, it might sometimes shines through. This is, nothing to worry about. But if you have this constantly present, it really tears down the entire motivation and the team. And then it's time to really work with this. Okay. To overcome and change as well the behavior.
Okay, it's a very difficult topic that we have now touched, but I think that they have also to raise this awareness that actually you can build, your enterprise can build this self-awareness to each team member in order to understand that this little glimpse of contempt, let's do the facial expression to be, what are you telling to me right now, guy? This contempt, this small thing might behind this, underneath this hide this irony can hide perceptions that they have to be aware to the people in order to clean the atmosphere. Let's put it like that, in order the whole team to go forward and to work and not to create blockages, because these behaviors are creating blockages. Of course, in the extreme situations that you said that there is this toxicity from here in Greece, we say the fish smells from the head. I don't know, what I mean? We have it here.
We have the same in German. Same thing.
Tell me in German. I want to hear it in German. How it is in German?
Fish stinkt vom Kopf.
From Kopf. Yeah, Kopf. Yeah. And exactly. Then, of course, this go all over to the clients, to the guests, to the providers, to collaborations, to everywhere. Yes, I agree. But let's say that the leader can see that the leader is okay. That's why he's open-minded to hire you or any coach to clean the space and to see what is happening with the team in accounting, for example, department, maybe this one department. So you go there, you do this one-to-one, and on your project, it is the self-awareness, to raise the awareness of matters, and to try help the people to be present, that might one behavior maybe destroy this dynamic and this moving forward of the team. Is it how I correct? I don't know if I understand it correct. All this project is difficult.
Yes, more or less. So what I do is really, like, as you said, to usually to have again this 101, to get a feeling and to get everybody's perspective as well. I need information. The more information I get, the more I can make up my head as well, how I can approach. And it's not me to really choose the topic. So that's always as well, mutual agreement from the team itself. However, although as a coach, we do not guide, it's a partnership. However, for team coaching, you need to use tools as well, to address certain issues and to reveal behaviors, to reveal behaviors, to reveal values, to raise the awareness, etc. So for me, it's a vehicle, So based on that, I design every time an individual for this team then a coaching plan for myself, to have of course, from my perspective, at that very moment, the best suitable or the most suitable tools I have in my own toolbox, And here, having this organizational relationship system background, I really love using tools, if it's face-to-face, really sometimes like which you can roll out on the floor, etc., where you can physically be involved, because it gets the people out of the hat, So, and this is a vehicle to really have a different awareness and to see what comes up then. And what starts at the very beginning for me all the time is, first of all, they need to know that that they are team members. So it's not about them as an individual person, it's about the entire team, and the team has different aspects, parts, however, an own identity. And I think even through letting them as well in a sometimes even more playful exercise, it might not always be easy for people who have not experienced that, etc. And so to dive into that, not always that easy, however, doable to stretch them here and there. So to experience that third entity, the own identity of this team. And having this done, you get a new perspective. So that's... Go ahead, Oksana.
No. It's beautiful. It's I will write it down. I will recap later of the whole this beautiful. Yes, I mean it's knowledge. It's information. So I did the new perspective of the team members. So this is what you cultivate. You try to reveal, to create a new. So if they have new perspective of the team, of their own team, and if they're having clarity of the identity, then this will eliminate and minimize the conflict, and there will be more. So it is like a body unit that they have to feel so united as one identity, as one body, as one person. Let's put it like that metaphorically. This is the ideal scenario.
That's the ideal scenario, as you said. But and this is here really a but, which usually I try to avoid as well. Here it's like, this is one step in order to let them see, okay, it's not about me, it's about the team itself. So my contribution, from my individual perspective, if I just see it through my own lens, I take care of my own needs, or on my little scope of work, I contribute. However, the team itself as an entire entity might have different needs and different priorities. So sometimes we need to step back a little bit and see, okay, if I come from my own needs, this might not serve the entire team. So I might need to put this a little bit back. And this switch in perspective often reveals a lot and gives a lot of more energy. So it's like a new perspective here. And it starts always with awareness first, and later on, we often dive into, okay, how do you communicate? What shows up if it's difficult? And it's often, or not often, I usually work always with real case scenarios, because that's where the issues come from, and then they can relate to. So to let them come up as well, which kind of communication issue do you have right now? What's present? And so to introduce maybe as well, I mean, you have seen this with working with the toxins before, to use this as a proper exercise and to walk them through, etc., and to see how this shows up if we just talk about toxins. And this is very, it's not a difficult exercise. However, often it's challenging for them to identify, I have a toxic behavior, and this has this and that impact on the team, and to get as well like thoughts, ideas from the other members. And then to realize, I might own a little bit of this, and I might need to have more knowledge how this shows up. to have this less present.
Yes, I like all this information about so the work that in order to help the team, it is to change the perspective and to raise the awareness what part belongs to me of this miscommunication or of this toxicity, or what kind and how I communicate and how I behave does not serve the identity, the team's needs. So this is very difficult to say that my needs of the work, the stress, the overload, the overwhelm, and then somehow to say, okay, I am in a team, so I have to respect this fact and to see what it's serving the team as well. So that's why you are raising the awareness for the team needs very strong, and then by doing this with your ways, with your tools, all this knowledge, so many years, slowly you change the perspective, but maybe you change the perspective to the people that they are more open-minded, the people that they are more narrow, or they are more difficult to change. In this situation, do you believe that if, let's say, we're having a team member that it is 6 members, and the 4 of them, they change the perspective, that means that they will carry with them the others 2 that are staying behind with a new perspective? Only I want this, if I need.
That's a good question. So what I loved is that you said that the 4 others changed the behavior. So for me, from the coach perspective, it's not me changing anybody, it's they need to change their own behavior. So we never want that somebody change personality, and that's not our responsibility. However, to come up with new actions, etc., for them, and maybe in that case, if we talk about behavior, maybe as well, like I pretty often do this, like to create a way of working, so where they really design how they want to work together and which kind of elements they have inside, etc. And of course, it's natural as well to have team members present who might not be so much into that. Not everybody is coachable. We need to respect that. However, usually the dynamics of the team, creates later on this change, or that they are, taken care of as well. Of course, sometimes we both know, sometimes you have people who just don't want that, and they don't want to change. They don't want to adapt.
Okay.
So
it's okay.
That's sometimes the case. And then, the team or the team leader needs to see, okay, how can I handle this? Is there any real issue present or not, etc. That's hard to say in that case.
Yes, of course.
But if it's, for instance, like if we come back quickly to this toxicity, and you mentioned this contempt before. So contempt is really, really hard to deal with within a team, because it's very, very
secret,
subtle, very and then, I haven't done anything. So it's very hard to tackle, honestly. So here, a good advice usually is, to either way to let this person have like a personal development experience, like coaching, etc. In a one-on-one scenario, to have this safe space. And sometimes this person might not change. So then you need to see as well, what's the best for the team.
Yes, of course. Because yes, this is the leader, and the leader will decide what they want, the company. And I like, because it is a very thoroughly and deep conversation that we have. We're starting from the China, from losing the face, from being explicit and direct, from having fun, experience, and where to share stories, where to share the facts, in which audience to share the details. We came up and we talk about the team coaching. You're a great coach for so many years, and I have also a great respect for you. I know you from Arafat Kolasari, from this great Arafat Kolaseri, an organizational of the global events, and we have to share because Arafat brings so many coaches together. So he brought us together, and we have to say that how yes, grateful we are for this connection. And also your contribution about the team organizational coaching, and that we don't guide people, we just raise awareness, and they help them to try and find, to use new tools, new ways of communication, new ways of how they can work better in order the identity of to cover the team's needs, and all these beautiful, amazing things. I mean, if I can talk to you and ask you till the night, I mean, I can do this for you, with you, because it is, you have so many knowledge and so many, it is inspiration and so many things that you know and can help and support so many people. I will leave all the details, your bio, your social media, on the text below, on the description below, underneath the title of this beautiful today conversation of ours, talking about diverse audiences, a Chinese, a German audience, plus communication, team communication coaching. And thank you so much, Eike, for being here with us, for your time, for your knowledge.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I enjoyed this conversation very much. And of course, we could continue far longer, because there's much more, you know.
Yes. Yes, we can continue for sure. Yes. Thank you so much, Eike. Take care.
You're welcome. You too.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the day in Greece.
Ah, yes. And you in Beijing.
Yes.
In beautiful Beijing. Beautiful Beijing. And dear viewers, dear people that you are supporting here, this channel, the School of Body Language in Public Speaking, we hope, we trust, we connect with people all over globe and planet in order for you to get value, to understand how you communicate best with your audience. You learn tools even for your team members, as today we have Eike with us. And see you all soon, and take care, and talk to you soon. Bye.
Yes. Bye.